I'm Tim Alamanchuk. I'm the communications manager at Reap Green Solutions.
I'm Matthias Biesenthal. I'm a registered energy advisor at Reap Green Solutions as well.
And I'm going to be asking Matthias some questions about the work that he does. So, Matthias, how many hours do you work in a typical week?
Me personally, it's about 40 to 50 hours a week, but it really depends advisor to advisor and how many audits they do in a given week. So it could be more or less.
And can you describe one of your typical work days?
Yeah, so it normally starts with the on-site visit. They usually start around 9 o'clock every day. So I'm usually doing the on-site evaluation for about 3 hours in the morning. When I come home, then I start to model or build the energy simulation of the building that I was just at.
And what skills are required in your position on a day-to-day basis?
I would say that the most prominent skills that are required probably problem solving and attention to detail. Because when you're on site looking at the house, every house is different, and there's little details that you can't miss, and they're important to include in the energy simulation. So those are probably the two most important, and I might also add in creativity, because when you're providing a homeowner with any recommendations, there are always unique circumstances around the house, so you need to get creative with some of your recommendations.
And what's your educational background?
I went to Humber College for sustainable energy and building technology, so very related to the field.
Great. And what parts of the job do you find the most challenging?
I think the parts that I find the most challenging are probably the modeling portion, building the energy simulation, because there's a lot of parts to a house, and just making sure that everything's accurate. You're always double checking your calculations, and sometimes they can get a little bit complicated. So it's important to take your time on them and make sure that they're as accurate as possible.
And what parts of the job do you find the most enjoyable?
I would say probably the on-site visit and communicating with the homeowner. When you're on site, you already have a pretty good idea of what could be improved in the building. So just coming up with those strategies to tackle those problems and communicating them with the homeowner, and finding a solution.
What is the starting salary for someone in this field?
I would say that it's probably around $50,000 a year.
And what about job prospects? Are too many or too few people entering this profession?
Um, I would say right now there are a lot of people that are entering this profession, and that's just because that it works very closely with incentive programs. So homeowners are really looking to get an energy evaluation when there's rebates available that they could get for their home retrofits. So it kind of ebbs and flows with the rebate programs, but right now is definitely a great opportunity to get into the field.
And can you talk a little bit about how being a registered energy advisor relates to climate action?
Yeah, so every home consumes energy, and to produce that energy, we create carbon emissions as well. So any opportunity you have in a home to reduce the energy consumption, you're saving carbon from being released into the atmosphere, either indirectly through insulation or directly by removing a natural gas furnace and installing an electric furnace or electric heat pump, for example.
Great. And what message would you give to high school students who are interested in careers in sustainability?
I would say definitely get into it. It's always expanding, it's always growing. It always will continue to do that because there's always a strong push towards sustainability, and climate change is a huge issue. And I would also say that reach out if you're interested in sustainability. Someone who's in the field. Reach out to them via social media. If you have an email them, because in my experience, everyone that I've talked to in the field has been more than accepting and happy to help with any questions, concerns you might have about careers in the field or just future as well.
Could students who are interested in careers get in touch with you?
Absolutely, sure. Yeah, if they want to, that'd be awesome. I'm happy to talk to anyone if they want to reach out to me via email, anything like that. That I'm happy to respond. Yeah,
All right. Thanks so much, Matthias.
thank you. Appreciate it.